Oh, apparently that song ended abruptly. Anyways, is the camera on? Hey, the camera's on. Hey, how are y'all doing? So, real quick, after speaking to a couple different creators about live stream monetization requirements, turns out the solution currently is to start your stream with the ads enabled. Then about 30 minutes in or so, you can turn them off. So, that's what we're going to do. We'll have to endure ads for about 30 minutes. That'll appease the YouTube gods. And then we can continue on without them. So, hello, my name is Dan. This is a live stream. It's not a scripted, edited video. So it just kind of plays out as it happens. And the purpose of these live streams is for all of us to get together and hang out in a little bubble where the world doesn't exist for a couple of hours. So that's the plan. We don't discuss religion or politics. We just kind of chat about whatever. There's no real topic necessarily. I typically pick a random project to work on. And today I'm kind of excited about that. We're going to be building, I've been putting it off for a long time for some reason, but I want to build a portable adjustable power supply that can go from like 3 to 30 volts and run off of a battery. And I think I figured out kind of a cool way to do it. It's going to be running off of a ryobi 1 Plus battery. So I ordered a whole bunch of stuff from Amazon, and we're going to see if this will work. At its core, functionally, I know it will operate, but my idea is to have it all in one little package without a bunch of wires hanging out that I can just throw in a bag and carry with me. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Oh, that's right, 4th of July. Wait, today's the 2nd? So that means, hang on, does Windows still have a calendar? Oh, the 4th is on a Saturday. Interesting. So, hide your skittish dogs, pet rabbits, and whatever else don't like explosion sounds, I guess. Um, hey, Russell, how's it going? Let's see here. Ooh, cheese. Mixtress, how did you know? Before I turned on the camera, while the intro was playing, I pulled a couple of slices of Sargento extra sharp cheddar cheese off the deli block and ate it. Cheese is amazing. $60 for a touchscreen tablet with wireless and wired ports on it. Oh, what are you working on? Oh, found a new tablet I want to get. Oh, cool. Bunch of open source stuff. Excellent. Oh, yes. And to answer your question, Mike, Purgatory does have coffee and cookies, but it's Folgers that has been sitting on the burner or the warmer for 12 hours and Duplo cookies that have been open for at least 72 hours. So technically coffee and cookies, yes. But anyways, let's see here. Just digging into it. Birthday's on Saturday. Excellent. Mixtress, is your birthday present going to be being finished moving? I hate moving so much. I usually give myself about a month to do it, but a few weeks into it, I'm like, I wish this was over now. So hopefully it's close for you, and hopefully it works out well. But yes, happy birthday. Long time SparkFun Nintendo user, 20 years now. Hey, White Raven, how we doing? Okay, so we're just going to jump right into this, because this might take a while, and it's going to involve power tools and a bunch of other things. Let's see. Wireless microphone. Oh, and by the way, there is a video I'll be posting later tonight, just like a regular video. This has apparently been power supply week. I'm working on building a higher capacity, sort of like an EcoFlow type thing, out of some stuff I had lying around here. And due to things that I explained in the intro of that video, it took a little longer than expected. But that's going to come out late tonight, probably, or tomorrow, maybe in your time zone. Oh, also, hang on. Let me switch back to this. Yay, birthday party. Yeah, SparkFun's still around. Random bit of YouTube stuff. Let me minimize this. I'm not 100% clear on the details. I am not changing YouTube member prices. I have them set at like $1, $2, $5, $10, and $100 for some reason, if you want to support, the channel. But I've been getting these emails saying that they're going to adjust the global pricing. It says changes only apply to new members, but right here, these two words, for now, existing members continue to pay the old price. So I think at some point they're going to pull the trigger on this, but depending on the exchange rate, I'll just go through a few of the main ones here. For the 99-cent tier on my channel, Canada is now $1.49. New Zealand is $1.99. I'm just saying dollar because I don't know what the proper nomenclature is for the other currencies. Hong Kong goes up to 10 from 5. Mexico goes from 9 to 19. There's one that was crazy. Argentina goes from 15 units to 700. I'm assuming this is just like a exchange rate thing or something. And I don't think it's going to affect US dollars, but I do know there's people in Canada and New Zealand that watch. And just fair warning, I don't think it's changing right now, but YouTube might just do it at some point. Hang on, is the UK in here? What are UK dollars? Euros? Let's see here. UAE. I don't even know what category that'd be in. Vietnam. I think EUR is euros. Oh, so no change. Okay. Anyways, just heads up on that. Maybe YouTube does what they do, and I don't really have control over it. But anyways, corporate greed. Yes. Let's see here. Didn't realize YouTube was such a luxury in Hong Kong, Argentina. I know, right? I think, like I said, I think it's based on exchange rates, but there isn't really a way to know. And they say things like, for now. So, anyways, if your price does randomly change, let me know. It wasn't me. I don't know if I can do anything about it, but I'm just curious if it does. Energy harvesting breakout board from time to time. Passives, higher current. Ah, yes, energy harvesting. A 10 by 10 after my birthday, and I have everything together once again. Ah, sweet. So the place you're living and a storage unit, I'm assuming? I mean, having it all in the same like area would be nice, if nothing else. Distributed big companies, DigiKey. All right, well, let's head over to the workbench, and I'm going to show you what the plan is. So, the idea is, oh, by the way, I found this adapter. I don't know if I was telling someone in the real world or on YouTube about it, but I keep losing this thing. This is ridiculously handy for the heat gun because you put what you want to heat shrink in here and it puts heat on both sides. Anyways, I found that. I'd put it somewhere safe. Safe. Oh, the camera's not working. Hang on, I got to fix that. It was right over here on this shelf. And I'm going to just find that. Let me fix the camera real quick, then we'll go over what this power supply build is going to look like. There's a grabber stick. There we go. Enter the Windows noises. Maybe. Wait for it. Okay. Now, turn it back on. And then we select the Elgato face cam, change it to something else. And, oh, it hasn't come back. Oh, wait, is it working? Cancel. Cancel. Discard. Oh, okay, it started working again. Excellent. It's not showing up as a device, but it's functioning, so we will see how long that lasts. Ugh. Move some stuff out of the way here. Oh, by the way, I am going to unrecommend this solder that I bought recently. It functions, but it's not super good. I have to use external flux with it. It claims to have flux, but it's not. The impregnation of the flux within the solder is not even, we will say. Oh, we should probably get our clock going here. Turn it on, off, on, pause. And then we're at 15:11. 14, 15. There we go. I have not charged this in several weeks I'm curious to see how long it lasts on a single 18650. I guess you can't even really see that. That's our discrete CMOS logic clock there that we built a while back. Hey Kent, how we doing? Start a free energy channel, rake in the big bucks. Millimeter wave. Oh my god, millimeter wave is cool. Microwave body detection is super neat. I don't know if you can see it, but right there, attached to my desk, is I don't recommend everything Presence 1 sensors because they're so expensive, but it's passive infrared and microwave body detection, which is kind of a millimeter wave sort of thing. But it detects motion through walls. That thing on my desk there can detect when someone walks by outside the building, which is pretty neat. Anyways, as you can see here, we've got binding posts with banana plugs. So we're getting serious with this. We got some leads, glass fuses, but this whole thing is going to be based around one of these little Amazonian modules here. Hang on, let me put on these gloves. Let's see here. Speaker bindings. Yeah, these are... I guess they could be used for both. They're gold-plated, but we're going to use these for the power supply here. Hey, Didi, how we doing? Little glove action. And, hang on a second. What is this? Something... That sucks, man. You should come hang out in the stream for a while, though. I promise we will be nice. Okay, so this is all based around one of these little Amazonian buck boost power supply modules. I'm sure you've seen these before, but the idea is you bring your own power input, and this will either buck or boost its output power from anywhere to, let's see, I think this goes from like a half a volt up to like 30 volts. But these have gotten slightly better over time. Check it out. We got a heatsink and a fan. So this one claims 90 watts of power handling. I wanted to get the 120 watt one because the fan and the heatsink was a lot bigger. Not that I'm ever going to be using it at full load, but just gives you a little bit more overhead. And I think this comes off of here. Yeah, and this is our input and output here. So our whole thing is going to be based on this. And I want to power it with one of these ryobi 1 Plus batteries. So you may start thinking to yourself, I want to do a thing. So I started looking around and I'm like, you can 3D print adapters that plug onto these, or they make power wheel conversion kits that kind of go on top and have a fuse. But then you've just got a pile of wires and batteries and you can't just grab the thing and run away with it. So I was thinking, all right, well, I want something that I can mount the battery to that is the power supply. Then I had this little idea light bulb in the back of my head come on. Let's see here. Channel. Just dealing with high heat indexes. Heat is not my favorite thing, that is for sure. Really, which also kind of limits some of the trail runs I've been able to do recently, which oddly I've done a whole bunch of them. Like more than half of the last 10 videos I posted were trail runs. That's why how much people I know about the high heat indexes. Eastern Tennessee. Wear a battery on your ankle. Send a little lightning bolt to shock your friends and family. Anyways, the light that came onto my head. How do we do all this? Well, Amazon also sells knockoff ryobi battery chargers. Let me know as soon as you're smelling what I'm stepping in here. So these, obviously, are not UL listed or have any safety ratings or anything. I think this one was like 20 bucks. Look at this little cheapy cord. It's like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it would charge batteries and stuff, but it weighs like nothing. you can mount it to a wall, but the whole thing just seems like, yeah, you could charge a battery with this, but I certainly wouldn't leave it unattended. See, the battery kind of clips in there, which is nice. This one even has USB outputs. But the idea that came to my head... Oh, what's this? Oh, look how deep this is. And look at this thing. And, oh. So the plan is, we're going to use this charger as a mount to hold the battery. We're going to open it up, hollow out all of its innards, cut a hole in it, either right here or right here. I haven't decided which yet. Mount this in there. Get rid of this, obviously. And then, this can be our portable power supply that runs from the battery. So, we're taking a charger and making it into the opposite of whatever a charger would be. So, yeah, that's the plan. And some faithful reviewer of stuff on Amazon even posted photos of this thing completely disassembled on Amazon, so I could see what was inside of it and how much space there was. And even buying adapters for these are probably like $10-15. But this for $20, look at all this room we have for activities. So, right? This is why I'm excited. I think this should work out well. Anyways. Coughing. YouTube thinks I need a used box truck, apparently because of the ads. Oh, gosh. There's a beeper that's going to go off in the background here in probably about 10 minutes. And that's when we're going to turn off the ads. If you're just joining, the solution to the ad requirement problem that YouTube has imposed on us creators is to start the live stream with the ads enabled, then about 30 minutes later, disable them. So we'll just have to endure those until then. And that keeps the YouTube gods happy. So we have here some generic-y power supply leads with alligator clips on one end, and the banana plugs on the other. So we're going to basically get that control panel mounted in here. We're going to attach some binding posts somewhere to this housing. And then also, we have some fuse holders, so we can have fuse protection in here. These are like those panel mount ones that you put glass fuses inside of. Let's see here. Open, says me. Yeah, so like these guys here. So we can drill a hole and mount one or more of those in here. And yeah, I think this will be a great thing. Like I said, I'm excited about this. I don't know if anyone else is, but I think it's going to turn out awesome. Let's check out our binding posts here. Yeah, so these will mount, and then grab one of these leads here. Of course, they're all tangled. Come off of there, you. And these have the traditional, like, hole inside there that you can pass a wire through, or you can just do that. So, yes, that is the plan for today. So let's get this thing taken apart, see what's actually going on inside of it, ditch this stupid little cord, and make a thing. Close up the knife so I don't slice myself. It smelled burning plastic already, yes. I am going to use the oscillating multi-tool thing. I used it yesterday for a sort of similar project that's going to be posted later tonight. But I think we should be able to cut it with that just fine. Paintball haptic vests. One of these days you're going to blow something up to the moon. Yeah, hopefully it's my Litecoin wallet. It's all about that crypto, yo. Chicken to the moon! Alright, I'm assuming there's screws under these little feet. Okay. So we're going to save these. Let's see. I need a more pointy one of these. There we go. Yeah, I probably would have purchased this anyways, even if that one guy had posted a review of the inside of it. But it was nice confirmation that there's tons of space inside this thing. And the circuit boards are just kind of like easily removable. Actually, let's get these completely out of the way. It's very likely I'm going to lose these feet. So if I can't find them, they're up here next to the keyboard on this computer. Stay. Of course, they're sticky. Oh, dang it. All right, stay. There we go. Screwdriver. Of course, they're a little tiny. Wait, are these even Phillips? No, they're not. Let me fetch my not Phillips drivers. Hey, Guru Race, how we doing? Apparently, Milwaukee and DeWalt sell a plug-in that attaches to your battery and gives you AC output. Yeah, I've seen those. You're not going to get too much extended output off of one of these batteries. I would say if you're trying to plug in an AC outlet to a battery like this, you should be using a different power adapter that doesn't need to go through 120 volts to get there. But yeah, I've seen those. My ryobi boombox seemed to stop working, so I'm going to hack a line in so I can use it for a portable guitar amp. Oh, nice. Let's see here. Buddy's wife, 3 years, flying to state earlier. Currently stalking them on Google Maps. Ah, awesome. Seeing old friends is nice. 3-phase 440. Oh boy, no open delta. That's how you weld screwdrivers to binding posts. Let's see here. Yeah, 440's certainly nothing to sniff at. Bonus points for the Litecoin mention. Yeah, so back in the day, Litecoin was referred to as chicken. CHIKUN. And it's always chicken to the moon. In like 2012, 2013, when I was doing Bitcoin mining, it was actually more profitable in the sense of power consumption to mine Litecoin and then convert that to Bitcoin later. So that's what I was doing in my old apartment years ago. I had the power feed so maxed out in that place that if you turned on one of the ventilation fans in the bathroom, it would blow the main breaker for the apartment. I had so many computers running in there. It was crazy. All of mine have names and little Velcro label tags. Nice. We're building a portable bench power supply that runs off of a ryobi 1 Plus battery. So one of these little Amazon modules here that's a buck boost converter, and it's going to get its power from one of these. And my idea was to get a generic Amazon cheapy charger and use this as a mount to put everything in. So we're opening this right now to hollow out all its innards and cut a hole in it to mount that little power supply panel and just do that whole thing. Because I've built similar things in the past, and you just end up with stuff like this, or just like a pile of wires and bare modules, and that seems annoying to carry around. So I think this should make a pretty good all-in-one sort of container. And how much are project boxes these days? I feel like a project box this size would easily be 20 bucks. Oh yeah, look at this. Dude, so much room for activities. This is going to be perfect. Oh, and it's not even screwed in. Nice. Oh boy. Why is there a button? There's a button right here that's not accessible from the outside. Strange. Yeah, like this works, but I mean, it does have an opto isolator and some anti-tracking slots, but this does not instill me with confidence for something that you would want to leave unattended and charge your batteries with. Although realistically, you shouldn't be charging any batteries unattended anyhow. I don't even think these are connectors. I think they're just, yeah, they just soldered these headers directly on here. So let's snip these off of here. And this little USB power supply board actually might come in handy for other stuff. Let me see if we can unplug this without cutting the wires. It's got some little glue holding it together. I mean, they did at least use Celastic on some of these parts to hold stuff in place. So this thing, well, probably works fine. They did take a little bit of care at least to make sure it doesn't break immediately if it's banging around in the back of a work truck. I'd be curious to see what the output voltage is, or what this little USB board runs on. Trying to get the glue off. There we go. Then, oh, okay, so our contacts for the battery that you can see down in here connect through to this board and these little tiny wires. So we're probably, the tracks are pretty fat on this, you can see, but I think we're probably, these wires are not large enough for what we want to do, so we're going to have to bodge in some slightly thicker wires. Like I said, I'm not going to be running this anywhere near its full 90 watt output, but these wires are a little bit small. And seeing as how this thing probably doesn't charge, I don't know how fast it charges, but these wires are pretty small. Did they double up a few of them? Oh yeah, so it looks like they doubled up some of them. So they're using multiple wires. Actually, maybe this will be okay. Our plus and minus have 2 wires each. That might work. Anyways, let's get this out of here. We'll just throw that down here somewhere. My ZRA called the Bug. F5VS is called Bentley. Nice. I hate the night shift person that works here now. Ugh. Yeah, it's hard to find good help. Oh! Hear the beeping? That means we can turn the ads off. Yeah, people can be definitely frustrating for sure, Robin. Okay, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna go into, let's see here, edit stream details, monetization, and off, save. All right, so the ads should go away. Ooh, coffee. Stand by for drinking coffee. Coffee. All right. Oops. Dropping things on the floor. So continuing on our disassembly here. Looks like there's a couple of screws that hold this USB charger board on that they've put some sort of Loctite or glue or something on. It's kind of weird. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, yay, sneezing. Let me get this off of here. Oh. Yeah, I haven't really named too many of my chairs. I guess Blasphemy is the one that sort of has a name. But other than that, I've got a friend that names his trucks, though. That was kind of out of necessity, though, because he had so many vehicles that they kind of needed names to identify which one was which. And one of them we bought had a custom license plate on it. I think it was Handy Rick or something like that. Or no, Handy Sam. I think it was a contractor who was named Sam that owned it, that we bought it from. But that name kind of stuck. And then he got another truck that was slightly newer, and we just continued the random tradition. And the new one's called Handy Rick, or just Rick for short. Buying that truck was kind of funny, though. My friend saw it for sale on Craigslist. And based on what the ad said, I figured the only thing wrong with it was probably a few of the bolts that held the flex plate or the torque converter on had come loose. And everything else was fine. So I showed up there to look at it. And another guy showed up at the exact same time. And we went for a test drive. And we were kind of listening to it. And obviously we both wanted the truck. I had gotten there first. But we both wanted the truck. So we're riding around on a test drive. And I could tell the guy knew exactly what he was hearing, the same thing I was. And literally the only thing wrong with it would be removing an inspection plate and tightening some bolts. And then you're good. So we're kind of like looking at each other and not really saying much. And then at one point, the guy selling it, we get back after the test drive and he's like, "You guys know what's wrong with it, right?" And we both look at each other and we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "It's not something very complicated, is it?" And we're kind of like trying to figure out what to say. And he's like, "I don't care. I'm not changing the price. I just find it funny that both of you are not talking and you seem to know something you're not telling me." And we both just kind of nodded our heads. And, anyways, we got the truck for super cheap. It was a F350 quad cab extended diesel. I think it was a 91 or something like that. But anyways, wound up buying it, tightened some bolts, and it was fine. It was kind of a funny thing, though. Okay, so we have a little USB charger board here, which doesn't appear to be too terrible. It's got a single chip, and we've got input and output smoothing, decent size inductor. So yeah, we'll definitely save this for future projects. That could be handy for something. I'll put that right there. And yeah, I think the plan is we're just going to cut out this whole section here. There's a post right there that's going to go away, but these four, one in each corner, are all we need to hold it together. So yeah, I think we're good. All right, I'm going to pull this board out of here. Then we're going to get to cutting things. See if we can get this panel mounted in here. Let's see, screwdriver. Let's see, looking at chat here. No, you're not weird. My M3 is named Miles Davis. That is kind of blue. Nice. I've called my chairs all sorts of names, especially when they stop working. I smell what you're cooking and got my brain thinking. Right, Troubled Soul? It just randomly clicked in my head. I was like, I think this is going to be sweet. That's why I'm like unnecessarily excited about it. Also, the video I'm about to publish tonight is kind of the same thing. I'm building stuff, and it actually is based around a module sort of similar to this. It's significantly larger, though. But I explain at the first part of that video that keeping my brain functioning is very important, and finding random projects to work on. We're just going to temporarily get this out of the way so we don't damage it. That was the main thing with this build is, let's see, I think I kind of push these out. There we go. This is the key part of this project, this little board here that connects to the battery. Your payment is due today. Yeah, sweet. And if we look closely at this, our, let's see, I believe this one's positive and this one's negative. So if we look at the back, we can see how the traces go over. And there's two wires. So these two wires are positive. And then for the negative, it's the next two. And then this is like the thermal data communication wire or whatever, so we don't need that. But I think this might work all right. I'm never going to be pulling a crazy amount of power, but yeah, I think we'll probably just use this existing as it is. But anyways. That was robust glue. Yes. Hang on. Do I have a... Gonna push some buttons. Oh, wait, hang on. Gotta spin this around. There. Reach the stream deck from here. And robust. There we go. The robust stick or wooden dowel. That has a 915 megahertz antenna attached to it. Okay. So, let's pop this off of here. Yeah, so this is V in and V out. And I believe these are set up so that the grounds are common, which is fine. Nice to see cooling fans on these. The previous versions did not have that. If you look close, though, the side of this is bowed out just a tiny bit for that inductor. And same with the heatsink there. I think this was $15 or $20 maybe. So not super cheap. But the nice thing with this one is it has a rotary encoder. And this also clicks. Then we have an output on and off. And then we have a bunch of other buttons for current and voltage setting. There's other versions of these that don't have all the buttons, or they're like membrane buttons. So I selected this one simply because it has actual, you know, carbon pad things with a clicky button and all that. But let's get our sticker off of here and see if we can mark this up a bit. There's the knife. There it is. They spared no expense on that hoopty, yes. Hey, back for more. How's it going? Goodbye, sticker. Ooh. And the sticker was probably $1 in the bill of materials for this thing. That's a nice sticker. Wait. The glue doesn't smell like anything, though. Okay. So, do I dare try to pull this off? Okay, that comes off. Doesn't really do us much good. I think using a measuring device is probably the way to go. I usually like to trace these, but there's a bunch of crap sticking out of the back and the front. So we'll just measure, thinking, where are my calipers? Oh, they're in the kitchen. I forgot it was Thursday again. Hey, Ken, how's it going? On the Promo website, it indicates programming more user-friendly, but it doesn't go into detail much. Anyone have some insight? I think Didi, they're just referring... Wait, not Didi. Wait, is that Didi? Oh, yeah, it is. I think they're just referring to the fact that it's built into an app now. And there's so many parameters that they built a search function. It does have some categories that allows you to go through and kind of find your settings that way, but in my limited screwing around with Quick Config and Power Platform, it's significantly easier to just use the search function in the app to find the settings. I don't know, Mike, what do you think? I know you've messed around with it. Is the programming easier? And I guess, technically speaking, you don't have to plug anything into the chair. So maybe that's a thing also. I don't know. All right, 0. And we're going to go... Why is it blinking? Does that mean the battery's low? Probably. Batteries are always low on these things. Let's do millimeters. Ooh, that's fractions. Okay, so about 78 millimeters. $78 by Johnny enters the chat by 45. All right, let's look at the back and see what we're working with here. So we have, there's a little post right there that would be nice to avoid. And then another one right there. So 45. Looks like those are going to have to go, which is fine. 78. Yeah, we got plenty of room to play around with there. So I think we'll just use... We'll use this top line here. And then, hang on, let me stick the battery back in here and see how far that overlaps. Oh yeah, plenty of room. So we could... Now this thing is a little bit curved also. So that's going to make it maybe pop out a little bit. Oh, you know what? Let's... That's fine. We'll just use this upper edge here. And then... How does this lay out? I want to keep that away from the battery a little bit. So I think we'll just use this here as our locating area. Because you have to be able to press this button. And if we get this kind of over here, then the button's not going to be blocked by that knob sticking out. So I think that should work. So we're going to use these as our homing points, as it were. Let's see. I don't think it's that involved, but there's also no instruction manual. Oh, it's easy to undo something if you mess up. Oh, yeah. I guess that's a thing, too. Hum the Bond theme to yourself. So what do we say? 78. And I'm going to go a little bit bigger on these because these tabs kind of stick out just a little bit. You just kind of get sort of close. You don't have to be like too crazy dead on with these things. So 78. Okay, and then 45. Oh. Actually, there we go. 45 roughly. We're doing exact science here, let me tell you. 45. Okay, cool. That should be some measurements. Put this back in its little tomb. Flat surfaces. Lid for the Sharpie. Actually, we're going to keep that out. Now, what do we use for a straight edge? How about a sheet of cardstock? After having been run over by my utility trailer, broken and boozed up, today a kidney stone made its presence. Oh, God. Dude, you're having a rough time with everything. Thank goodness for a stream to refocus off a long... Yeah. Yeah, we'll say the stream is a good replacement for that. Quite themed entrance. Yeah, he got run over by a utility trailer. Not the most pleasant thing in the world, I would say. Yeah, it's a little crooked, but who's paying attention, right? Okay. Let me put the printer back together. But now, we're going to grab a power tool that is very much obnoxious. It's probably second or third on the list below woodworking routers for the sounds that it makes. So I'll probably turn off the microphone while we're using it, maybe? I don't know. Was wondering how hard it would be to build a scale so I could weigh myself with my wheelchair. Hang on a second. Replying to text messages. I built one a couple of years ago out of some lumber and a kit from eBay. it was maybe 150 or 200 bucks. One of these things. Matebo HPT. And one of these. Yeah, these things make an obnoxious amount of noise. Ugh. So I'll probably mute the microphone and play suspenseful music in the background while I'm actually cutting stuff. And it's probably going to make a huge mess all over my workbench. So this goes in here. This thing always confuses me as to how it works, but I think you open this and pull this up, twist, then this comes out. You have to line up all these little dingle holes. Put that back in, lift, rotate, and then this makes horrible crunching noises. Sounds like breaking. Oh, there we go. Now it's on there. Yeah, these are not the quietest thing in the world. See it jiggling? It is variable speed, though, which is nice. Now I know what roadkill feels like. I know, right? We're making a... Yeah, what are we making? We're making a portable ryobi-powered power supply. And we're using a cheap Amazon ryobi charger to hold everything. Because the battery snaps in here. And we can pull power off the battery. And we're getting ready to cut and mount this right here. And, yeah, that's the basic idea. So, I guess suspenseful music plays, and I'm going to mute the microphone for a minute. Committee says you must stay. This is why I want one of those vibrating cutters. Yeah, so like I said, this is adjustable speed, which is nice, and it's basically a hacksaw on the end of a stick. So pretty handy. Like I said, they make obnoxious noises, but you'll see here how well it works on this. Watch. Miserable fail somehow of it not working. All right, suspenseful music and muting the microphone. Man, it's almost like I planned that. I'm completely coated in lime green plastic now, and my arms are made of rubber bands, but as you can see, I think it kind of worked. See everything skittering around the desk. Oh, man. Let's get our screws put back over here. All right, now, so it kind of melted and cutted a little bit. Oh, we got some work to do here on the back. Oh boy, do my arms feel strange now. And wait, what are these screws for? Something. Oh, there we go. That needs to come out. Ta-da! Now, I'm going to go fetch the vacuum cleaner because I don't really want all this stuff in my cushion. Great use of the case. Yeah, like I said, project boxes of this size are going to be like 20 bucks anyways. It's not there right now, but I'm going to link all the stuff I used in the video description. I think it was about $70 for everything. The charger, the module. We're going to be using actual binding posts with banana plugs for leads and everything. Yeah, let me go grab the vacuum real quick. Dan doesn't have any vices. I don't think I have the vice of knowledge here. Yeah, I don't think I have any vices here. Be here in spirit. Dan on mute so you can see if the authorities need to be called. Venezuela vibes. No need. Silicone mat held it in place. Yes. Vacuum. Please hold. Vacuum cleaner. Oh man, my arms are still buzzing. Where'd I put the vacuum? Oh, there it is. But yeah, the video I'm going to post later tonight, you'll have deja vu vibes. I use that same tool and I mount a very similar looking module to something that is significantly larger than this. That would in no way fit on this desk. This can go... hang on, let's start a bag of reject parts. Oh, this cord is so crappy. I don't know why anyone would plug that into wall power. Okay, vacuum cleaner noises. So satisfying. I don't even know what that means. Oh yes, and the silicone soldering mat was brought to you by our resident DJ Mixtress last year sometime. I don't even know if you can hear what I'm saying right now. Okay. Holding my arms up at this point is not a thing. Ugh, okay. Let's clean up some of the edges here a little bit. I feel like I need some lo-fi music playing in the background. Hey Chris, how's it going? Spinach. The mic also muted the vacuum. I don't know if it should have. I don't know. Funny enough, noise reduction skipped the vacuum noise. I didn't think these had. Huh, weird. Could you hear what I was saying while I was vacuuming by chance? Or did it just mute everything? If you don't like scrapey noises, stop listening now. Alright. Probably need to vacuum again. And we're probably going to need to trim this a little bit more. As you could tell if you were watching there, that oscillating multi-tool was a little bit unwieldy. Ugh. Yes, you were clear. Oh. Sounded like it lowered the volume. Interesting. So the DJI microphone version 1 is what I'm using right now. What secrets are under this mat? Nope. All right. Now, preliminary test fit. I'm not expecting this to go in here. We'll probably have to do a little bit of trimming. That is one thing with this, though, is the power connector, as you can see, hangs below this edge a little bit. And I don't think I accounted for that when we were picking our homing placement. Let's get rid of this. Oh, actually, we're okay. So, oh wait, are we? Yes. So the wires come straight out the bottom. It's the screws that stick out. So I think we should be all right, maybe. I don't know. How could anyone even know that? Okay, a little bit of trimming right here. Wait. Okay, so width-wise, we're good. Let's see here. I should probably be getting my larger diagonal cutters for this, but they're like 10 feet away from here, so... Let's try that. Use the vacuum first because you don't want to breathe what's in their keyboards. I got the Ryobi pet stick. Oh my gosh, back for more. I've been stalking the Ryobi pet stick vacuum on eBay for quite some time now. I occasionally find them for like $100 or even less, just the bare tool. But yeah, that seems like the perfect vacuum. What do you think about it? Because I got one of those Amazon ones with the floor roller, and it only runs like maybe 3 minutes at a time. And then the batteries are like $45 and proprietary, and it takes them forever to charge. So I figure if I had a Ryobi vacuum, maybe it would stay at full power longer. And then also, I could just swap out the battery and keep vacuuming. Oh. Oh. Hang on. Some little plastic boogers here. What do you think? It's a little crooked, but that's fine, right? Oh. Actually, that binding post is probably fine. That sort of supports it. Yeah, I think we're just gonna... Like I said, I don't care that it's a little crooked. I'm probably just gonna backfill this with hot glue to hold it in. Yeah, there we go. I mean, clearly custom build anyways, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, I could trim it and straighten it up a little bit, but I mean, our latches are in there. I think that's fine enough. Yeah, then that can go in, and we can still get to our button here. We can turn this. Yeah, I think that'll work. Is the OCD going to make me adjust the angle, though? It might. Hang on. Love it. Wash the brush. Got an open box for 120, no battery. Filter pack of 6. Oh, you can wash the filters. Nice. See, you get another instance where the needle and feather flies come in handy to make the fit just right. Got my minivan back today from having EMC system removed, and they left the battery cables loose. Wait, what did they have removed? What's EMC? I think I'm just gonna leave it. This this random post right here, I kind of like how it's holding the back of this in place. So yeah, I think we're just gonna leave it how it is, and then once we verify everything works, I'll just add some hot glue to keep it from popping out, which I don't think it necessarily would anyways. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna call that good. All right. Some more bits of plastic. Oh, and as far as this goes, we have plenty of room for that to plug in there, and the wires come straight out the bottom. So, all right, cool. So, sanity check. Yeah, right? Yeah, and we knew this was curved, so I'm not too worried about it sticking out. This is, oh, there we go. This is just a highly functional thing for me to use. Okay, now, we want to get some fuse protection and some power binding posts mounted somewhere. So let's kind of put this in here. Then we obviously have a few options for where we want to mount stuff. Our power's coming out of the battery down here. It doesn't matter, we can extend the wires. So where do we want to put these? I'm thinking, let's see, and then a fuse. I think putting the fuse down here near the battery is probably good, so we could just kind of stick that right here on the front. And nothing interferes with that on the bottom case. So yeah, I think we'll put the fuse right here in the middle. This is just one of those threaded glass fuse holder things. Yeah, so I think that'll work. And I guess while we're doing more drilling, let's pop out the thing that actually makes the whole thing work, so we don't accidentally stab a screwdriver through its little OLED. Put that over here by the rat. R.I.P. whoever's dogs are in the room. Alright, and what size would you say this is? Medium? Ooh, I just remembered coffee exists. Let's see here. Looking at chat. Old Harbor Freight has a set of needle files for $4.99. Ooh, I love files. Oh, the joystick driving system. Wait, your van had that? Did they give you all the parts? That's something I would love to screw around with. In Oregon, it doesn't matter. Other states, they're like really weird about that stuff, and they're like, oh, it's illegal if you even look at a vehicle that has that or something. 10 or 15 bucks, but nice for those sharp interior corners. Yeah. I've got some little triangular ones around somewhere that are great for filing that stuff. I haven't had a license for several years, thanks to the paperwork snafu. System was badly getting in the way of anyone else driving. Okay. Oh, did you drive that thing yourself before, Chris? Hang on, I was just going to do something. Oh yeah, coffee. And then drill bits. And the drill, which are still in the other room. And again, yes, this is power supply week. The video going up later tonight is quasi-related. We make a basically poor man's EcoFlow 120 volt power station out of stuff I happen to have lying around here. Oh yeah, drill. And drill bits. And probably electrical tape. Oh, how about some step drill bits too? There we go. Yeah, I think having the fuse holder on the end of it, right next to the battery. I mean, I would assume these have protection built in, but I don't know. Oddly, the Milwaukee batteries, the official ones, don't have low voltage cutoff, but the Chinese knockoff ones do, which is pretty interesting. Let's see here. I would have liked to keep the parts, but had no use for them. Got almost... Oh, they gave you a discount. Okay. That's fair then. Yeah, if you got basically $1,000 for them, I'm all for that. When the FAA took my license, I flew anyway because I'm a rebel. Let's not admit to crimes in chat. That's funny. This might not be big enough, but that's why we also have these. And actually, I'm going to use those instead because these, with these giant teeth, have a pretty nasty habit of just cracking the crap out of that plastic and destroying it. So we're gonna rock with one of these instead. Let's do this one. Wait, no, this one. That one doesn't look as sharp. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Another $12 thing on Amazon, and a metal case that actually has hinges. I swear, I don't know how the world works sometimes that we're able to get stuff shipped to us for that not expensively. And people make money, I think. Okay. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. We'll just center this up. Like so. Let's see, is there a... I'm attempting to be OCD and see if I should do it in one of these notches or next to one, but we'll just kind of... Yeah, we'll just do it right here. Be slightly off center. That's fine. I also like these drill bits because you can go really slow and they tend to not rip the plastic to shreds. Look at these lovely little ribbons we get as a result. Party confetti. Look how clean that is. I'm so excited about everything today. No way. This can't be first try. I'm on a roll. I don't think I've ever used a step drill bit and had the hole be correct on the first try. Maybe I should go buy a lotto ticket. Do we make sure it's right side up? Probably. Little spacer. Little this thing. Which barely fits over the pre-wired terminals. I paid a 40-cent premium to get fuse holders that were pre-wired. And boy, was it worth it. I think I'm going to need a wrench that I don't have in here now. Yes, un momento. Statute of limitations has passed. Modern EV, single pedal, alternate controls, doesn't really care. Shot braking. Oh, dude, living in a houseboat would be great. I looked into doing that years ago before I was in a chair. The most expensive slip at a marina that I could find at the time was like $150 a month. And that was like the nicest one that exists. And you can get a houseboat, like a decent sized one, for like $50,000 or something. Yeah, I pondered doing that at one point. That would be cool though, living on the water. We'll gingerly tighten this. Tighten? There's a YouTuber I was watching recently. I can't remember which one it is. But he says the word tighten. Titan? I don't know. He says it very strangely. The more I say it, though, the stranger of a word it sounds. Tighten. All right, good enough for who it's for. We have infuse. Now, yeah, I think that should be something. That's just, I saw that connection was wobbling, but I think that's the spring-loaded thing on the bottom. Now, where do we put our binding posts? Working, it's gonna be sitting somewhere. I think I'm just gonna put them in these corners for no reason, because there's a decent amount of plastic there. Actually, what's inside? No, I'm not gonna put them in the corners because that's where the case holds together. How about Titan? Oh yeah, it was Will Prowse. You're right. Yes, it was 100% him. I'm glad to say I don't miss driving very much since everyone in town seems to have forgotten how to drive. There is something nice to just cruising down the sidewalk in your chair and pointing and laughing Nelson style at all the idiots that are angry and stuck in traffic. Each side of the fuse. Oh. That, actually. Well, that's on the way there. I do like that idea. I don't want them too close together, and there isn't really room for two right there. I mean, maybe there is, but let's see here. Maybe, I mean, if we put them over here, things are kind of getting a little crowded right there. And then it gets hard to reach in and do stuff. I think I'm going to put them back here. Yeah, just back here in this center part, I believe. That's kind of out of the way of everything. Yeah, we'll just do that. Let's see how these things work, though. I've got a bunch of nuts and washers and assorted things going on. Oh, come back here. I like the light rail. Move the fuse over one hole. Mike needs a train set. Yeah, in Portland, riding the bus is not what you want to do, but light rail is still, like, moderately tolerable-ish. Okay, so that's how much we're working with. Yeah, see, we don't have enough room to put one over here, unfortunately. And having two of these next to each other would be too close together. I do like that idea, but yeah, this didn't quite work out. So we'll just stick them back here. Sure, why not? Where'd the drill bits go? Ugh. These should be a little bit more straightforward. I'm going to go a little small, and maybe we can thread them in to kind of help with mechanical attachment, roughly. I think we'll do negative on the outside. Wait, are these going to... they're going to overhang a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, somebody's just got to pick something and go with it. At least there are little holes. Yeah, exactly. I much prefer my scooter or trike driving around town. I was commuting from 42nd and Fremont. Cam says once a week. Let's see, 42nd and Fremont. Yeah, that would be an annoying commute to drive for sure. Yeah, that I don't envy that commute, Russell. I keep forgetting you're a local. I love Rightwell, but I'm a good-sized person, so people leave me alone or behave in my car. Purple smoke! The stink eye. Just got a notification that they added another day to the extreme heat warning. Oh, fun. People on the bus with a cartload of cans, bottles in my seating area. Yeah, that's the thing on the bus is everyone has their trailers of crap and like to set up shop in the wheelchair area. It's all be obnoxious. And heaven forbid you like say anything to anyone or even look at them. They just like flip out. Okay, these holes might be too small, but let's see here. Oh, look at that. That all kind of comes apart. Yeah, let's go a little bigger. I thought I was going to thread them in, but I didn't realize those studs were completely separate. Actually, let's just kind of wallow them out a little bit. Those are pretty close as is. Let's do that sort of thing. Oh, that did not feel good on my wrist. Ow. Okay, next size drill bit. My wrists are not happy. This might be too big, though. Nah, it'll be fine. Huzzah! Alright. Looks like a thing. Oh. I didn't think about the stuff on the back being in the way. Well, we're in it now, so I think what I'm going to do is just clip off the bottom of this vent on each side. Then we'll let it smash flat as we tighten it down. Safety squints. Okay, now what order did all this go in? So I think it's this. Then washer. Then I think star washer. Then nut. Yeah. Then I'm actually going to get a socket set to tighten that down. Actually, some Loctite would probably be nice on that. When wallowing doesn't work. All day cooking class. That's gonna stay. Went back to the trails, camping and rafting. What was I? Oh yeah, sockets. We have the tried and true Husky 1/4/3/8 drive kit here, which goes down below. Well, it goes really tiny. I'm assuming metrique. Yeah, sure. Oh, did it strip already? Oh boy, hang on. Luckily, I ordered a kit with about 150,000 of these things. Ah, okay. I just had to loosen that a little bit, and then it's got some teeth that sort of binds it into place. All right, cool. These are not the highest of quality, but they should function, I think. Sure, why not? Yeah, I think you can see what I did there with the vent holes. I just clipped them and then let that kind of press flat. So, looks a little funky on this side, but whatever. This ain't about looks. Okay, so we'll keep that out. Then, let's get our positronic one on here. Oh, man. Dysreflexia. Why's it got to be so dumb? Just chilling for a minute here. Yeah, no. Threaded metal inserts wouldn't work on this. It's not. This plastic kind of burns, and also it's not super thick. This looks thicker right here than it is up there. Yeah. That would potentially be a thing if the case was a little more... I can't reach the robust button. Why is that one so much different? Oh, I did it backwards. I was going to put the positive up there, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. There we go. And then... I guess we're going to do the same thing with the vents on here. If I can reach in there to do it. Oh, man. Whew. All right. Time for the game of what's triggering the dysreflexia. Yeah, I love them too. I just recently got a whole bunch of them. These are just going to be kind of loose and floating around in here, but that's fine. The binding post will sort of hold them in place. Ish. Or not. There we go. Washer. Star washer, nut, tighten by hand, tighten a little bit with the wrench, then unscrew this a ways. It's kind of like wheel studs on your car. There's sort of a interference fit that gets pulled down into a washer on the top there, and that's what kind of holds the base in place. Kind of gingerly tighten this because I'm sure those nuts will strip if we get too rambunctious here. Just while we're here, we'll do this one. Yeah, I think the route there would probably be using some Loctite on those, but I don't know where it is. Oh wait, I just remembered where it is. But I already put them together. We'll fix it later. Everyone who's ever made anything knows what that's code for. Don't worry about it. We're not going to ever do anything. All right, now we got some binding posts and some little floating around pieces of plastic. But hey, okay. So we got those, that. Uh-oh, did I miss a... No, I think we're good. Okay, moving on. More plastic disposal. Oh, there's the other one. We'll just put this in the parts bag here. Not really having a garbage can nearby. Okay. What's next? Probably figuring out how we're going to wire the battery board. So, what do you think? These wires are not big. I think they have some printing on them. Let me see what gauge they are. And we can do some calculations as, what's his nose would say. Great Scott. Calculate. These appear to be... AWM1A? What? LF, NF. Oh, they're 24. So... Ow! Just stabbed myself with a drill bit. I always forget. Let's see. 24... 24 divided by 2. No, times 2. 24 times 2. No. 24 divided by 2. 12. No, it's not exactly the same, but... that gives us... 20 amps? I'm trying to decide if I should replace these wires. Two 24 gauge wires in parallel. Obviously not exactly the same as 12 gauge. But 12 gauge would give us 20 amps. And we're never going to come anywhere near that. I don't even think we're going to approach 10 amps coming out of this thing. I think it's fine. We're just going to leave it. Yeah, so... what we need to do now is verify with a meter that these are connected the way they think we are, extend them a little bit, get those attached into... where's the thing? Oh, this thing. And go from there, I think. Order of operations. If I had to do a lot of those inserts, I'd employ... where'd it go? Something about induction, I think. I can't find the message again. After 8 months, they finally delivered my new motors and armrests. Dude, that's been so long, Mike. Next week, they bring the backrest parts. Interesting and awkward week that involves 2 companies and 2 different orders next week. I have to do a lot of... oh, yeah. Induction coil. Yep. Exactly. Lazy chair rebuild. Besides that, I fabricated a drain thingy from a window air conditioner. It's working perfectly. I've done that before. I wound up going way over... hang on. What was I going to go grab? Meter. Oh, wait. There's one right here. Are the probes attached to it? They are. I used a condensate pump from an HVAC system. It was an old apartment complex I lived at. And I put in a window unit outside, and the management was like, "You can't do that. It drips water everywhere." And I'm like, "Oh, is that the only reason? Is you don't want water dripping?" They're like, "Yes, we can't have water dripping." I'm like, "There's no other reason other than that." They're like, "Nope, it's just the water." I'm like, "Okay." So I got one of those condensate pumps. They're about this big. They have a motor, a pump, a float valve, and everything in them. And I hung it from a rope, probably about this tall. I attached it to the back of the air conditioner, so the air conditioner was hanging out my window, and then this condensate pump was hanging below it. I piped the drain from the AC into the tank on that thing, and then took the output tube and ran it back in through the window, and had it discharging into the kitchen sink. They came by like a week later, and they're like, "Hey, what is all that crap hanging from your window?" And I'm like, "You told me the only reason, literally the only reason I couldn't have a window unit was because of dripping water. That keeps water from dripping." And they were like, "I guess dripping water's not so bad." It was kind of funny. So I was able to take all that crap off. But it looked horrendous from the outside. All this garbage hanging from the air conditioner. Ugh. Uh, Okay, so we are concerned with these two terminals here. This one being positive. Actually, I'm going to mark those on here. We'll use the battery for reference. Don't worry, I'm not sticking it on there. Plus, minus. I'm just going to mark this one. Plus. Plus. Minus. I was going to put an X on that one. Oh, it's already marked on the board. B plus, B minus, and thermistor. All right, we don't care about the thermistor. Whatever. Board's already marked. Perfect. Now. Oh, we need wire strippers. It's almost like I've been working on an identical project in the other room and all my tools are still out there. It should be... Ow! These are sharp, by the way. Should be these two. Yep. And not these. Okay. Then these two. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I'm going to put the covers back on these because, oh my god, little needles. Nice silicone leads. I wish they weren't quite so sharp. It's hard to find good silicone leads with probes that are not sharp enough to do surgery with. Okay, now, scraps of wire. Left over from another project. Let's get our soldering iron on here. And we don't need the thermistor, so we're going to go ahead and remove that so we don't confuse ourselves. Yep. Goodbye. That's only needed for charging, really, anyways, I think. And we can snap this back in here. Get our screws in. If I have to rent, I'm gonna have to live workspace at this point. Yeah, I'm in process of trying to. Well, I got some irons in the fire for a different place to live. That has workspace built in, kind of like a dual zone thing, sort of like a barn dominium, if you will. But yeah, right now I'm very limited as to what I can do, and it's affecting my ability to make videos. And I was realizing I need to get moving on that, otherwise I'm just going to sit here and my brain's going to rot, and I'll get complacent and just start watching soap operas all day. Are those even still a thing? Okay. Let's make it even easier for ourselves. Plus. All right. Oh, that's right. We need to strip the wires now. Oh, and actually, we also need to get... Actually, we're going to wire the positive into the fuse, I guess, and just go that route. Going to get strippers, I think. Oh, wait. Nope. They're on the desk already. I'm pretty sure in this pile of stuff. Oh, my gosh. Oh, they're there. Ow! Keep stabbing myself with the drill bit. So, see if we can do this without destroying these wires too much. Oh, and we get to use a new fancy thing that's not really new or fancy. Or am I going to do that? Actually, maybe I won't. Hang on, I need to make sure I didn't nick some of those wires. We need every bit of our fake 12 gauge that we can get. Yeah, we got one strand, but I think we're okay. So I was thinking about using those self-soldering butt connectors, but we have a soldering iron right here, so we're just going to do that. Because, yeah. Oh, man. Holy dysreflexia. Please stop. It's so annoying. Okay, bend that around. Not red. Wait, what's happening, Mixtress? Buy a garage. I've never really had one of those. Please use 2 wires only. Okay. I think that's what we're going to do, mostly because I'm exquisitely lazy. Or no, I'm efficient, not lazy. The two things are very close to each other. How are you typing those logos, Mixtress? Too bad I can't solder. Anyone ever damage my right arm? Oh, nerve damage. Ah. No projects are safe here. Short my roomies. Bench sleep protection. Monthly. Oh, geez. Yeah, roommates can get tricky for sure. Pandora's box, yeah. Soap operas are still a thing, said Jay Baby. Okay, excellent. Do they have new ones, or are they still all the old ones? It's kind of like the idea of Christmas music to me. Aw. Apparently human sweat is very corrosive. I wiped my forehead once and the glove just shredded. It's kind of like my theory of Christmas music. When was the cutoff? Because, you know, there's songs that are like Christmas songs, right? The classics and stuff. But all of the new songs are basically remakes of those. And who decides if a brand new Christmas song is written that it's actually a Christmas song? You see what I'm saying? Like, they were all made like in the, I don't know, 50s, 60s, or 70s or whatever. And that's all the ones we know. And all the new ones are just remakes of it. So when was the cutoff for when you were allowed to make new Christmas songs and have them be what we consider Christmas music? Am I even making sense right now? But yeah, are there new soap operas? Ugh. I'm going to take these off and let my hands dry for a minute. Ugh. And I'm going to put some links in the description for all this crap we're using. I need to not use my arms for a minute and chill out and let the dysreflexia kind of stop being whatever the present tense is of dysreflexia happening. I don't know, words. All right. I just want to ask abilities. Yeah, atrophy. The old ones are still around. All some have been canceled. Good Christmas song is Bowie and Crosby. Grandma Got Run Over. But yeah, so someone could like an artist could make a new song and be like, yeah, this is my new Christmas album, but it's not like a Christmas song in the traditional sense, right? There was a cutoff at some point, I think. That's on my face. Anyways, let me get some links together here. daddybezos.com. And then let me pull up my orders here where are nice and secret and you can't see them. Okay. So that, this, and that. Holy crap, it's like 5 things. Okay, so we're going to start off with the fuses, which are these. Okay, add that to the description. Edit. Glass fuse holders. Space hyphen space. Or is that an M dash? If you're AI, I think that's M dash. Then we have the control panel itself, which is this. Okay, so it was $20. Kind of on the expensive side. I'm just going to call it power supply controller. Okay, then binding posts, or whatever these are called. Hexagonal head binding post, banana jack socket. Panel chassis mount, gold-plated amplifier, terminal connector, red and black, screw bolt diameter 0.47 millimeter, 10-pack. These things. Binding posts. Okay. Then our generic-y power supply leads, which are these. I don't think they're silicone, but they're soft enough to work. Power supply leads. SUPPLY. Binding. There we go. And then the last thing. Oh, the charger itself. I would not buy this to use it as a battery charger. It would probably work, but I would want to keep track of it in laboratory conditions, just because of how it's built to a cost. But $20, not bad. And then slash case. Can you use a slash? Yeah, you can. Space, Control V. Okay, now Amazon sit links. Colon. Okay. You can refresh what you're watching on. And all of those links should now be in the video description. Ooh, coffee. Mike says, I watch my doorbell camera for fun. Yeah. Yeah, there's like 9 cameras around this building that I watch. And actually, I think there's 7. There's about to be more. But it's always interesting to see what's going on out there. It's censored, you can. Let's see. Huge Bowie fans. Bowie and 9 Inch Nails. Oh, I forgot about that. John Denver. Oh, it's not John. Is it? James Taylor, I think it is. The song Mona. It's an insane song if you actually listen to it. I think I've mentioned this before. Was it James Taylor? Oh, Mona. Yeah. It's a song about killing his pet pig and barbecuing it. I don't know if this is going to give me copyright matches, but we'll play a little bit. Okay, so this part here, it says, reckon for a barbecue when you died. Reckon everyone figured you for a barbecue when you died. And then, hang on, the chorus. You can close your eyes. I've got a 12-gauge surprise waiting for you. You can close your eyes. I got a 12-gauge surprise waiting for you. I grew up listening to that song and had no idea what it was about. But anyways, there's that. Oh, man. Don't be ashamed of adult toys on your order page. We all buy weird stuff for DIY projects. Oh, no, you just can't load the Amazon page without it, like, leaking your address and stuff. That's the main thing. Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas. Funny you mentioned that when South Park did John Denver. Oh, yeah, South Park. That's right. Oh, anyways. Oh, our soldering iron's still on. We need to continue on and do stuff. Yes, you need to see solder melt. You are correct. I don't know if you guys could hear that, though, but you can close your eyes. I've got a 12-gauge surprise waiting for you. Oh, my gosh. Anyways, let's crank this up a little bit here. Get one of our sticks of solder that I've prepared earlier. Oh yeah, I was going to put my gloves back on. Whatever, I don't need gloves. Oh, luckily our cable is now wrapped around everything on the table. Okay. So, let's try and solder some thingies. Ow! I think I got stabbed. Can't really see what I'm doing. Okay, please stay when I let go. Stay. There we go. All right. Let it flow. Actually, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. RB faints. Oh, man. Gotta have my crossword puzzle glasses on. Let me not stab myself in the eye with that. That would be not a good time. Where'd I put the solder? There it is. Okay. And I'm going to put a lot on so it kind of flows back into the insulation where we potentially cut some of the strands of wire. Yeah, this wire's thicker than I thought. More temperature. There's some more coal on the fire. There we go. Ugh. Yeah, the flux is very inconsistent in this Amazon solder. All right, there's one connection. Let that cool for a minute. This wire is fairly decent size. Heat shrink first. I'm just going to use electrical tape. Never mind that it's right here. Yeah, with stuff like this where we have giant battery potential, I like to use kind of wanted this to be under here. I like to use, if I do use heat shrink, I still use electrical tape. So might as well just use a few layers of electrical tape. Okay, this is going to our input side. So, actually, that might be long enough already. It's really close. It needs to get to right here. Yeah, so we need to extend these a tiny bit. Then we'll just use a short piece of wire for this. All right. And I like to stick the open ends of the wire together to get the maximum surface area possible. So just kind of like slip them together, give it a twist. Also makes for a nice low profile joint. And let's solder this copper to the aluminum. Some flux in there. Wire pansy. 3D vision is not the same with magnifying glasses on, or stereo vision, or whatever. Depth perception. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, this solder kind of sucks. Yeah, we need more flux. Oh my gosh. Hang on, we're busting out the reserves here. There we go. And another stick of solder. Oh yeah, look at that. Smells like pine. Beautiful. My hands are shaky. All right. Whew. Nothing like. Okay. Let's not concentrate and inhale that. Oh. That's a new sensation. Anyways, I need to get my fume extractor set up, I think. We got some Super 33 Plus here. Oh. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Is solder flux smoke a stimulant? Because I feel very awake now. Woo. Hi. Next week, Dan makes a fume extractor. Dude, I might build another one. I haven't seen mine in a while. But yes. You are correct. Oh my god. Hang on. I need a moment with some suspenseful music, I think. And some inhalants. Where's the button? Oh. All the reviews online said that stuff was no joke. And apparently they were serious. Woo! Alright. So, don't concentrate and inhale the fumes. Oh boy. It does have a pine base, but oh my god. Whew. Alright, doing good. Oh. One more layer. Man, that's better than Magnum Sharpies. And by better, I mean worse. In a better way. Oh boy. Alrighty. So, that just happened. The stream will continue until we can power this on and run a project with it, by the way. What time is it? It's almost 5 o'clock, so this might be a 3-hour stream. I am definitely awake now. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. Okay, so this is positive. This is negative. Okay. I think we might be ready. Actually, here, let's see. So this goes in thusly. And positive, negative. So I'm going to mark the negatives on these. There we go. Make that a little easier. Voltage in, voltage out. So, oh, we need a switch. Wait. Was I going to do a switch on this? Because I could just take the battery out. It'd probably be nice to have a power switch, right? I think so. Yeah. Awesome. Here for the completion of the portable power supply. Excellent. Let me see if I have any switches in stock. I feel like that's something we should do. Leaf through our library here. There's a chance I'm running low on those. There's these right-angle mountable pre-wired ones that I like. And I tend to use a lot of them. USB cables, MP3 players. Okay, not in there. Yes, power switch would be useful if the battery gets stuck. Oh yeah, that too. Oh, I already had some banana plugs in here. Didn't know that. I do believe I'm fresh out of switches. I'm thinking through... Because I believe the last one I used, I had to poach from something else. And, yeah. Well, I'll have to add that in later. Doesn't affect the functionality of it for the purposes of this stream, at least. But, yeah, I think what we're going to do, we'll mount a power switch right here. Wait. Do I steal one? Ooh. I feel like this project might be more important than where this other switch is currently being used. Let me see how annoying it would be to remove it from this. Yeah, side quest. Let's see how integrated this is with everything. Yep. I feel like I might have filled this entire thing with hot glue. And it might be easier to just buy a switch and take apart the power supply later to add it than it would be to remove it from this. This is an unnecessarily complex device built for pure annoyance. Ooh. I think we're gonna poach the switch. Yes, we are. The wires are just right here for the plucking. Don't even think we need any tools. We might. Okay, we need one tool. Yeah, these little Gardner Bender pre-wired right angle knobby switches are one of my favorite things in the world. These things. Right? And they have that kind of classic old school vibe to them also. Yeah, our power supply is much more useful than this device that was built purely for evil reasons. And I don't know why Black & Decker thought a blue LED would be a good idea on this thing. It makes it harder to see anything it's pointed at. Because you just get the halos in your vision. Okay. You know you've got a lot of things going on when you're poaching projects for other projects. But yeah, that's a device where you put a sound file or four on a micro SD card. It's got a speaker. And you stick it somewhere where you want to annoy someone. And that remote control works from about a half a mile away. Okay, pretending I have no idea what we're doing. Switch. Okay, so that's going to go here. Roughly. Drill bit. Sure. I feel like we need some lo-fi music in the background or something. I don't know. Oh, hello, Mixtress. Um, on plus off equals unplugged, easy peasy. Backtop plus F. Radiation biohazard, nuclear recycling? Nuclear recycling. Oh, by the way, recycling isn't real. These studies are finally coming out and telling people what a scam recycling has been all this time. Just in case you were curious. Yeah. So let's do sure right here. No, here. Yeah. Will I get lucky again? Make sure we're not catching any wires. I'm stopping what I think is too early. Okay, so what is up and down, off and on? So the notch is on off. Hey. All right. Okay, okay. Uh, Now, the trick with these is that little tab on this nameplate tends to shear off very easily on these. So you got to be kind of careful. I'm going to try and hold it with my thumb while we gingerly tighten this. Tongue at the right angle. Nope, it's trying to turn. All right. Ha! Huzzah! Oh, this thing's going to be so fancy. All right. Switch. Now, we got to wire that into our pile of stuff here. Oh, actually, we didn't have to extend those wires. Could have just... Yeah, whatever. It's already on here. Let's do the shorter one. Yes, refusing the positive and switching the negative. Sue me. That way, whether you're looking at conventional electron theory or the other version, we've got it covered. No matter which way the pixies are dancing. Okay, I'm going to lean back and get nowhere near this. We need more temperature, though. These are both fairly thick wires. I think it was Alpha Phoenix or Ben someone did a video about why solder fumes always go right into your face. And it had to do with thermodynamics and convective flows. But if you notice, leaning back like this, it's not going into my face. Something about passive air currents in a room as you breathe and talk and do whatever. I don't know. Something. I really want to use more flux, but I also don't. Oh, now my neck hurts from holding it at a weird angle. Okay. Now we have a switch. Excellent. Little bits of solder, and some more electrical tape. Did you hear Will Prowse is getting sued? Yeah. Did you see his video yesterday? Testing the safety mechanism on a Battleborn battery, and it just bursting into flames instantly. I love how he had the independent review report and basically followed, well, not basically, but he followed the exact same procedures. And the procedures were like, any flames at all is an automatic fail. And I don't know if you noticed when he hooked it up, there were flames instantly. I haven't watched the aftermath video. I just saw that was posted a few hours ago. I think he's going through and looking at the carnage left over. He was so pissed. You can't sue your way to a good product. Oh, man. All right. Egyptian hieroglyphs. Actor Supergirl. Battery guy on YouTube. Oh, yes. Very dangerous battery, yeah. People have those in campers. Yeah, that battery was supposed to be the best of the best for the longest time, and everyone bought it. There's so many of those things out there deployed everywhere. Yeah. I don't know how many hertz it was, but we'll say 0 hertz because it was a direct short test. He was testing their safety mechanism, which they just made up because they were like, oh crap, we screwed up. Let's lie and call this a safety feature. Okay, I think we're about ready to start actually connecting stuff now. So let's trim this down a little bit. Strip that. I think we're ready to put our input. Actually, I don't want to twist those together. We're about to put ready to put our input into our power supply connector, which is right here. Ooh, it even has rising clamp terminals. Nice. We need a decent flat blade for this. Hang on, I'm starting to get screwdriver bits scattered around. Okay, there's the other one. Phillips right there. And this one. By the way, this Husky set is pretty nice. It even has pentalobe screws, and these are all held in with magnets. So when you want to take one out, you just kind of like push down on the end of it, and it pops up and you can pull it out of there. And it's got a fidget spinner bearing on the end of it. Okay, now I need to pay attention, so this might be silent for a minute. VN. It's right there. There are a few schools of thought when it comes... Whoops. There are a few schools of thought when it comes to putting wires into rising clamp terminals. One of them is you can use ferrules, or you can twist the ends of the wire and put them in, or solder them. I like to just put them in flat and not twist them, because it actually allows the mechanism to grip each strand of wire. Okay. Then can all kind of go somewhere. Let's put our negatory in here. And they actually shipped this with the rising clamp terminals closed, which is a nice surprise. That way they're not rattling loose and coming apart. So I'm going to trim that down a little bit. I don't want any hanging out. Seeing as how we have a fairly large amperage potential going on here. Then I'm going to put on my glasses and inspect for stray whiskers. Those appear to be good. Then for some extra strain relief, I'm going to gently tape the two wires together right here. There we are. Okay. Then that is going to end up right there, roughly. Okay, now let's get our output wires prepared, which we're going to randomly do yellow for power and white for ground. Because that's what I happen to have. Here. Trim that down a little bit. Yeah, and I don't talk a lot because it takes all my concentration for fine motor skills to happen. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty stout rising clamp terminals too. They're kind of nice. Another stray wire inspection. Hey Richard, how's it going? All right, that looks good. Bypass the BMS. Yeah, I would say 0 hertz because it's a direct short and there's no power switching. Late again, what's going on with the Mad Creator? Happy 250th, everybody. We are making a portable battery-powered power supply that I can use for powering random projects on the go. A little bit more strain relief here. And we're installing fuses and switches and all kinds of fancy things like that to go with our top hat and monocle and the tea and crumpets, because we are fancy like that. All right, I think we are ready to jam this thing in here again. Oh, that's on the... Wait a minute. Oh yeah, there we go, like that. Hang on. Flip this all around. Yeah, we're taking apart a ryobi battery charger and making it into a power supply. Listen to that crunch into place. That's so awesome. Hang on. We need another round of vacuum cleaning, I think. Urgh. The opening on this is not very big, as you can see. Oh. Why does holding a vacuum cleaner instantly zap my energy that way? That seems weird. Oh, let's turn off the soldering iron. Okay, now we have our output wires here. And we're going to do some cable management with some zip ties because we want to keep everything away from this heat sink here. But I believe... Oh, no. Is this not long enough? It might not be. Oh, I think we're just... Okay, let me make sure. We got input and output correct. VN out. Plus, plus. Okay. Oh, look at that. Just fits. Just barely. This wire almost isn't long enough. And actually, I need to cut that tape off and change it a little bit because our strain relief is putting strain on it. Come here, you. There we go. There we are. Okay. So, I think it's... Yeah, that looks good. I think we're getting close to time to start adding some zip ties. Where's our bottom cover here? Yeah, it looks like we've got enough depth for the wires to stick in there a little bit. Actually, my strain relief tape was a bad idea. I forgot it was going to be poking out near the bottom. I'm just going to remove this completely. And if need be, we can add some daubs of hot glue later. But things aren't going to be moving around in here, so we should probably be fine without it. Okay, so there's our output. And inputs over here. That looks to be fine. Let me grab some zip ties. Let's see. I feel like that some days. Yeah. 109. Holy crap, Richard. Wait, is your birthday on the 4th, Mixtress? Why was I coming out here? Oh, zip ties. All right, we have a bunch of itty bitty zip ties here. All right, time for cable management. So let's that can just kind of put that over here. Oh yeah, that binding post is that we left in here is actually going to come in handy. So I'll put this. Let's see here. Okay, those are the same pole. Also want to make sure none of this gets caught in the fan. The nice thing about this being a charger case is it's filled with holes, so we should have plenty of ventilation going on in here. Air to passively fly in and out of here. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Let's pull this over here. Let's see, how do we want to lay this out? Let's just kind of... yeah, I think that'll do. Yeah, we'll do that, and then I'm going to add some hot glue to kind of hold that in place. I'm very picky about wires rubbing on things, and I like to avoid that. Yeah, that should be good. Then we'll just add a dab of hot glue right there. Okay, and our positives and negatives are all separate. I suppose we should see what we have for fuses. This kit supposedly came with some. This seems like an annoying box. Oh boy. Oh, there they are. Ha! Fuses. Go in. Moment of sitting without lifting my arms for a minute. Now, these are fast blow fuses. More appropriate use case would probably be slow blow, but whatever. 115 in Louisville, Kentucky. Holy crap. Kentucky. 102 in Oak Ridge. Man. Tell me about it. Yeah, that's a lot of heat. All right, let's select a fuse of some value. It's a 15 amp. Actually, 15 amps is probably fine. The idea is with fuses, you want to rate them slightly smaller than any single wire, the amount of power it can handle. And these are fast blow, so yeah, we're just going to rock a 15, I think. That should be fine. The only other option I think would be a 10, and that feels like it might be a little bit low, especially when the capacitors charge up in this thing. Yeah, so let's see if our fuse holder even accepts fuses. Oh, spring-loaded, nice. Okay, seems to go in there. That's something at least, right? I think we're ready to power this up and test it. You know that point when you're just like working and working and working, and then it's like, oh, I think we could test it now. Let's do a little more wire routing here. These are longer than they need to be, but I think we're just gonna kind of, how do we want to do this? Let's sort of tuck these around this way, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I think that should be good. Yeah, okay. Now, pull these around here. Just temporarily, I'm going to zip tie these to this post here. Okay, so I think we're ready for the sanity check version of just seeing if this whole thing even powers up. Cut those at different lengths. And let's double check our wiring here. So positive, positive. That goes through the fuse. Okay, negative, negative. Goes through the switch. I think we're ready to test it. Ready to see if we're going to have our own smoke show. Yeah. Then we can worry about connecting this and actually powering some loads and stuff. All right. Time for the moment of potentially something. Okay. Right. Here we go. We have a green light. Okay. It beeps. Whoa, Chinese. Oh, dude, this thing has graphs and all kinds of crazy crap. So voltage set. Okay, so you press voltage, and that lets you change the voltage. I should be current. I'll have to read the manual on this, and then I think if we press the button... Oh, the output was on. Okay, so it defaults to the output being on. That's good to know. Wait, does it? Let's double check. Yeah, it defaults to the output being on. That is a very... I'm going to write that on here on a sticker, because that is something you need to know. And interestingly, when you turn it off, it drains down. So... Oh, over here in this little tiny part that you can't see, that's where you set the voltage. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 12. Okay, so this is the output, and then the voltage set is over here. So 12 volts. Let's go down to like 2.2 amps. Then you turn it on. Okay, interesting. So can we... There's a graph. Sorry, you probably can't see a lot of this. Interesting. Okay, well, it seems to work. Excellent. Proof of concept. Now, let's make some terminals for these, get them connected, put the thing together, and power something with it. Because that's why we're all here, right? Success! Angry pixies contained. Yes, for now. I have an M3 power platform. Should the battery be dropping 80-90% after having went a mile or two? Let's see. Got it in February of 2025. So the batteries are about a year old. I mean, maybe. If you haven't changed the batteries and it didn't used to do that, usually any major changes in how the batteries are operating can be a sign that something's starting to wear out. But they keep doing firmware updates for the way things work, so it's hard to tell. You've got more than a year on them, so I don't really have a good answer. Maybe just keep an eye on it and make sure they aren't dropping super fast. But it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, Mixture says time for battery replacement. Yeah, if in the next week or two they start dropping pretty fast, then yeah, your batteries are probably hosed. But yeah, something. Terminals. Let's do... those appear to be the ones. That is too small. I think I'm running low on the common sizes. Yeah, we'll just... That one's kind of big. Yeah, we'll just use those two. Okay. Then need my crimps. I had a C300, one battery's fully charged off the charger, second battery is 60%. Yeah, they'd be out of balance back for more if that was the case. I figure batteries should last around 4 years. Oh, no. Not with the stock charger, and especially not on power platform. I would say if you get to the 1.5 year or 2 year mark, you should just replace them regardless. The way everything's set up by default, you're not going to get that much life out of them. To check the balance, you got to take the top cover off the chair and individually check the voltage of each battery. It's best to do that after a day of use, and then you can see how far the voltage is off between the two batteries. But that's how you check the balance on them. I keep forgetting... Oh, crimpers. We got some fancy ones for this. The old Klein tools. Ooh, coffee. Oh, man. I'm out of coffee. At least in here. Oakley dokley. Time for the... What is it? The finger detecting nut buster. These things do make a solid crimp, though, I will tell you that. And blue. Oh, screwed that one up. There we go. Ah, it fell out. Much silence. Come on. Go to your home. There we go. All right, we have terminals attached. So, we said yellow was power, which makes sense there. White is not. So, let's stick this on here for our output. Add another washer and a nut. And then where's our wrench? There it is. Kind of hand tighten those for starters. Is that loose? No, it's not. Okay, another washer. Could put some star washers on here, but they're in the other room. Okay, then we will gingerly snug these. It's not to strip out the Chinese threads. There we go. I think we have a thing. Yeah. Nothing's going to interfere with the fan there. These wires all seem good. Actually, I don't even need any hot glue on that. That's not going anywhere. Cool. I think we have a thing. So let's power it up one more time and check our output with the meter. Then we'll put the bottom back on this thing and see if we can do some burnouts. Whatever that means. With the very sharp probes, Yeah, it does remember the previous output level as well. Oh, look. Voltage. How high does this go? There's 22. Yeah. 31. Yeah, seems to work. Bring it down a ways. Ooh, half a volt. Can we do that? Not very well. Oh, yeah. Range changed. Yep. So we switched from buck to boost mode. So this is putting out about 20 volts, so or 18 volts probably. Anything under that is going to be the buck converter. And then over that, it's going to be boosting. Cool. Seems to work. All right. Let's throw the bottom on this and hook it up to something. Yeah, this is nice. I'm glad I thought to use one of these cheap Amazon chargers for this. I'm very much happy with this. Look at that. That's a confusing looking thing right there. All right. Weird screws, which by weird I mean Torx. Looking at chat. I've got a 24 volt balance 3-wire version, keeps them balanced. Yeah, so probably the easiest way to keep batteries in series balanced is they make 2-channel chargers, and you can wire up your own connectors that way. I don't know if that's actually easy, but yeah. Takes the higher voltage battery and charges. Oh, like that kind of balancer. Yeah. Um, so it's not so much power platform draining the batteries, it's the way the charger works. If you're using it in the stock mode, it's giving them a little more voltage than they prefer. And if you're using it in compatibility mode, the voltage curve is fine, but for some reason they program the chargers with a very anemic float mode charging curve. And lead acid batteries need an extended float mode for maximum service life. So with the Volt Pro charger, if that's the only one you're using long term, you're not going to get the maximum life out of your batteries. The ones in this chair I'm sitting in right now, I think they're about 2.5 years old now, and they are the Permobil branded batteries, but I'm using a Victron charger every night, and it has a proper float mode charging cycle. But yeah, it's the charger, honestly. But yeah, if the batteries are getting out of balance, something else is wrong. And usually that something else is one of the batteries starting to wear out. It's alive! Yes, Didi, it is. Yeah, definitely flagged its security, right? Oh, no. We gotta do hot glue. We gotta hold this thing in here. Hang on. We are not ready for screws yet. We gotta smear some hot glue all over this thing so our control panel doesn't pop out. Not that it would, but hot glue. Oh, where's the glue gun? Oh, it's in a box in the living room for some reason. That's fine. Gives me a good excuse to put the crimpers back in my tool bag as I pass by. There we go. Hot glue. And a sacrificial paper sack to use as a drip tray. Wait for that to warm up. I think we still have battery in this. Yep, we do. Alrighty. What to pass the time with waiting for hot glue to heat up? Yeah, it keeps the battery, the old batteries from forming. Oh, yeah. Trickle charge is super important mode in lead acid, yeah. Oh, you use the older style permeable charger, gray upright. Wait, so the gray upright one is different than the dolphin charger. Gray upright is plastic, and the dolphin one is metal. Those two are very different in how they operate. No, Victron is a completely separate brand. It's kind of a enthusiast brand, as you were, for people that like to use solar stuff. LiPo batteries can be revived if they get over discharged. Not really safe. Yeah, LiPos are a completely different thing. The Dolphin chargers, which are kind of the stubby metal ones, those are okay, but they're not going to be as good as that gray upright permawheel charger. And the odd thing is, I've found the gray upright permawheel charger is very good for MK batteries, but finding more data now as time goes on, using that one long term with the Volt Pro batteries is leaving a bit of capacity on the table. So what I've determined is using the Volt Pro charger in compatibility mode a couple of nights a week, or at least one night a week, we'll say, and then using the gray upright one the rest of the time is a happy medium. It just sucks that a lot of the chargers out there are not really the best for anything, but yeah. My OCD would have put the yellow crimp on the yellow wire. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to pretend I don't see that. See, that's the problem, Dina, I've been finding out is, honestly, a Victron charger, you have to make your own connector for it, but that's the best thing for the Permawheel branded batteries. You could start using the Volt Pro charger. Make sure it's in compatibility mode, though. And you might get a little bit of that capacity back. If the batteries are already starting to drop that fast, though, ooh, that was about ready. They may already be on the way out, but that's the problem. Is the Volt Pro batteries, or the Permawheel branded batteries, are more like the Odyssey Extreme batteries, where they do need to be charged to a slightly higher voltage, but not as high as the Volt Pro charger on its stock settings. So that's where this conundrum comes in, is basically none of the chargers you can get from a chair manufacturer are appropriate for Permawheel branded batteries. The compatibility mode on the Volt Pro charger will get it to the proper voltage and charges them at higher amperage, which they want, but it doesn't have a proper float mode. And the gray upright charger has a proper float mode, but it doesn't quite get the voltage high enough that the batteries want. So I don't really have a good answer. If I were you, I would grab the Volt Pro charger, make sure it's in mode 3 or compatibility mode, and then run that for a week and see if anything changes. Yeah, it keeps you buying batteries. That's true. Back for more. I think it was just kind of unattended consequences on how they designed everything. I don't think any of it was malicious. They just weren't paying attention. And the engineers were not familiar with the real world, I think. Kind of. So we're just going to kind of slam some of this glue in here. In a few spots. I'll kind of let that set up there for a minute. I'm going to hold this at this angle until it sort of congeals a little bit. I used the Volt Pro in compatibility mode for a few months, maybe 6 or so. And the charger port overheated, so you stopped using it. That's the other problem, is the overheating charging port. If you got your chair in 2025, though, it should have been a newer one that didn't have the faulty charging connector on it. You see what I mean, though? There's no good answers. The only good answer is buying a $180 charger and making your own cable for it, which obviously is not the best thing for most people to do. I'm trying to think of an easy way. If you look at your Volt Pro charger, the connector on the end of it, like the, the silver XLR thing, look at it real close and see if it has the brand name Neutrik on it. Neutrik. If it doesn't have that, that's why the port's melting. And also, if it doesn't, I think you should be able to contact Permobil and they should replace it. Because that was part of the whole warranty thing, which I don't really think had a time limit on it. But I would check the end of the charging cable and see if it says Neutrik and go from there. What charger do the Bounders use? Bounders use the ePower First brand chargers, which are some of the best chargers on the market. It's actually who makes the gray upright Permobil gray plastic charger also. But if you get, well, that's with their lithium battery chairs. I haven't had a Bounder that has AGM batteries, so I'm not sure what charger they'd give you for that. But for the lithium ones, they're using the ePower First chargers, which are designed for LFP battery packs. But you don't want to use those on AGM batteries. Because charging lithium iron phosphate batteries, the charging methodology, as it were, is the charger has a bit of a charging algorithm to it, but it's also more power supply than it is battery charger, because the electronics in the pack are responsible for finishing and balancing and stuff. I know, it's all clear as mud. Confusing as hell. I don't have good answers, unfortunately. It makes me want to, try and get an account with Victron and start selling their chargers so people can get a good one that isn't going to cause problems. Okay. We were in here with the glue gun anyway, so I went ahead and glued that down. So we're going to let this congeal for a few minutes. Then we'll put the lid back on. I think that's everything we needed to shore up in here. Oh, I was going to put a touch on these output wires here. Just for... Actually, nah, I'll just leave those. Those are fine. All right, cool. Ta-da! So we'll let that congeal for a minute. Then we'll put the bottom on. Then we'll power something with it. And then we'll call it a stream. Yeah, my DME sent me a new one, but I didn't trust it, so just use the old upright one. Yeah, and that's a good thing to do. Like I said, that gray upright plastic charger, it's not going to hurt the batteries, but you just won't get the maximum service life out of them, unfortunately. I still recommend MK batteries for everyone. The Volt Pro ones are actually decent batteries, but the way they have to be charged is very specific and not really available through any OEM chargers that exist. And it's interesting too, the Permobil branded batteries versus the MKs, the price kind of fluctuates. Sometimes the Permobil ones are $50 or $75 cheaper for a pair, and sometimes the MK ones are, so it just kind of varies. What kind of MK batteries? Just like the standard Group 24 wheelchair batteries. They're gray in color, and they have flat tops on them. Well, these are Group 34s, but I can get you... the ones that look like this. Those are Group 34s, but the Group 24s are just a little bit taller. But that's what they'll look like. You can get them on Build My Wheelchair. They sell them. I think they're anywhere between $550 and $650 for a pair, something like that. Not super cheap. Okay, close enough. I got so much stuff stacking up on the floor here next to me now. All right. I think that's all the things. Okay. Now, fancy screwdriver. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry, Dina. It's just there really isn't a good answer. Uh, I would just avoid the Permobil branded batteries because of all of it. Like I said, the ones in my chair right now, they're 2.5 years old and they're still running strong, but that's only because of the charger I'm using. I think I might have updated this in a blog post on the website. I don't really mention that, and I don't think there's a reason most people would go to the website and look at that. But I think I updated a note, something to that effect, a few months ago. Actually, we're going to look at that here real quick in a minute. I'm just curious what I wrote in there. Okay, so what percentage of good to go is this? I'm going to say 100%, and I'm going to stick the feet back in this thing. Is that wise? No one can know. There's no way anyone would know that. We're just going to go for it. All right, John, are you still watching? What do you think? Yeah? Yeah? It would be cool if this thing could also charge the battery, but I've got plenty of chargers. There's one attached to the wall right there and everything. Okay, so we're going to test that out here in a minute by powering a load, which I'll have to find one to do, but let's take a break over here real quick. Alrighty. Oh, yes, James Taylor. Talking about barbecuing his pet pig. Where did I bury this? Project notes blog. Let's go. I think it's a notes blog. Yeah. Fast forward a year. 100%. Excellent. Oh boy. Let me just scan through this and see if everything lines up with what I just said. I think it should. High profile, roll grounded. I think the answer lies somewhere in the middle. Stock volt pro, voltage is too high. Gray upright, not quite enough voltage. Okay. Yeah, so here's basically everything I just said. There's a link in chat for it. There's a danger zone every cycle. Odyssey batteries have warnings about crossing this. On paper, stock settings should be fine. Manufacturing tolerances. 3-4 months. Pretty decent. Like to be charged up to a slightly higher profile, but not as high. Yes. Okay, best options. In order, best first. If you have Permobil branded batteries in your chair, hang on here. I think your phone is sending random things again. We got to figure out what's going on with that. Okay, so if you have Permobil branded batteries in your chair, here's your options. Oh, no, hang on. This is overall. Okay, so starting at nothing. The best option is MK Power batteries with the gray upright charger or a Victron charger on normal profile. Option 2, Permobil branded batteries with a Victron charger on the high profile. Option 3, Permobil batteries with a gray upright charger and a weekly overnight charge with the Volt Pro charger on mode 3. Annoying, but solves the capacity issue over time. Option 4, Permobil batteries with a Volt Pro charger set to mode 3. Clear as mud, right? But that's the list. So Dina, if you didn't have the melting charging jack problem, I would say option 3 would be your easiest option. But if it's melting your joystick, not a good option. I would look at that joystick and see if it says Nutric on the connector, the part that plugs into your chair. If it doesn't, get Permobil to replace it. If it does, I don't know what to say. Yeah. Obviously not everyone's going to have problems. Very important line. And then I bloviate on about stuff. This was in response to a few comments where people were asking the same thing. So I just started giving them a link to this. People imagine the world in black and white. In reality, it's all grayscale. Nothing is all or nothing. A single tech seeing 1,000 sets of batteries still doesn't have a frame of reference to speak of in the grand scheme of things. So if someone's seen, because they're like, oh, our tech's seen thousands of batteries and they don't have a problem. Well, doesn't really mean anything. And I don't really, let's see. Doesn't have frame of reference. And neither do I, for that matter. I only have my personal experiences and word of mouth from other users. This is why I did a bunch of testing on a cross-section of batteries and chargers built across a 4-year period. The results speak for themselves. Is this egregiously bad? No. Is it questionably splitting the line on I can't even talk. Are these batteries egregiously bad? No. Are we questionably splitting the line on industry standard tolerances? Absolutely. Will everyone have issues? No. Have many had problems? Yes. The entire point of all this is to show data, not opinions, not years of experience, actual data. I encourage everyone to look up data sheets on your favorite brand of AGM batteries. I can almost guarantee they indicate spending any amount of time over 15 volts per battery is bad news. Bottom line, if Permobil had included a proper float mode in the charge cycle for the Volt Pro charger on mode 3, it would have been perfect. So, anyways, there's that. I'm not good at reading words and saying them out loud right now, but that's where we've landed on all this. Looking at chat. Would my DME cover MK? They should. The price is basically the same, sometimes cheaper, sometimes more. But if you just stand your ground and be like, I need MK batteries, they should do it. You may occasionally get a Permobil apologist saying, oh, this is bad, blah, blah, whatever. To that, I would say, I will sign a waiver or a disclaimer. The problem is, warranties don't really matter if your chair is insurance funded. If your insurance bought the chair for you, they have to cover maintenance and repairs. So voiding a warranty has nothing to do with anything. Because even if you don't have a warranty and they claim you're putting the wrong brand of batteries in, they still have to replace them when they wear out. So it doesn't matter. Most of the people I know and in my friend group, the DMEs we have around here, well, maybe Mike can tell me if this is the case for him, but they will usually let you specify what brand of batteries you want. I don't know, Mike, if NewMotion is giving you that option or not, but from my experience, usually you can strong arm them into whatever brand of batteries you want, like MK, for example. My Strike Force has MK, and they've lasted over 7 years. See? I'm telling you, they're good batteries. The use case for a Strike Force is a little different than a daily rehab chair. And the funny thing is, if you're using one of the high-speed chargers, you know how Strike Force sells that giant charger where you can plug in 2 chairs at a time with 2 connections per chair? Those are actually really good for the batteries. That keeps them balanced. You're charging them at a higher rate. It's only 10 amps per battery, 20 amps per chair. But that's what I was talking about with dual channel charging, is that actually keeps the batteries in really, really good shape, is using those high amperage chargers. They're also really good quality chargers, the Noco Genius ones. But yeah. My DME bought me low quality AGM as replacement. Okay. Well, if you happen to be with someone like NewMotion, for example, I've actually had that experience with them years ago. They just give you the Amazon special cheapo ones. Yeah. I asked my NewMotion repair tech, and he said he has not yet seen any batteries die after charging in regards to the Volt Pro charger. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, not everyone's going to have the problem. When I first got this chair, the batteries lasted 1.5 years. I was using everything completely stock, and it was fine. But over time, companies get new contractors, new manufacturers, things change. Maybe the tolerances are a little different. I'm fully convinced that the first set of batteries I had that were Permobil branded were fundamentally much better quality than the subsequent ones later on. Like I said, not everyone's going to have a problem. You usually only hear about issues. Well, it's like the the analogy, you don't hear people rejoicing every time they get on and off an airplane and survive. You only hear about the problems. So, yeah, there's probably a lot more people out there that aren't having issues. But the problem is they designed something on paper and made it right to the spec. You have to factor in when you're designing stuff that the real world is a very different place than the paper calculations you've made. And that factory for a month or two might be producing the batteries slightly differently. One employee might be doing something differently. Whoever's programming the chargers might be slightly off, or they had a certain bill of materials for the components inside the charger, and that could have changed. That's something that's happened quite a bit. And recently there's some fairly big ones with DigiKey and other parts manufacturers. They're replacing parts with other compatible ones that are not compatible at all. So there's a lot of things out there that can change and a lot of failure points. And you have to factor this in when you're designing stuff. These chargers do have a programming header, and Permobil could send out cable kits with their techs and just tone it down like a volt is all they'd really need, or a volt and a half. Extend the float mode a little bit. Not everyone's going to have problems, but just the real world's a very different place than designing stuff on paper. And when things are pushed out and not tested fully, I mean, realistically, you can't fully test stuff. You got to roll it out and let the public have it. But you have to be able to go back later and be willing to make changes. And Permobil has blamed the customers instead of realizing there's a problem in the ones that have an issue. At one point, the main guy there was blaming everyone, saying, "Oh, well, the reason your joystick ports are melting is you didn't unplug the charger from the wall before you unplugged it from your chair." That has nothing to do with anything. Anyways, that's where I stand on all that. Can you show the gray upright charger? Yes. Trying to think of where one is that's easy to grab. Hang on a second. Hang on, I'm going to grab the Volt Pro and the gray upright so you can see. Hang on a second. Okay, wireless microphone. Got to move a couple of things, but these are relatively accessible. Move utility chair 2.0 out of the way. Oh man, if I do wind up selling the bus, I'm not going to have a use for utility chair 2 anymore. Well, other than airline travel, I guess. But I try not to do much of that. Okay, here's a gray upright. And I think, yeah, I got a Volt Pro one sitting right here. Also, let me unplug this. There. Come out of there, you. There we go. And hang on, I got to deal with this wire. Okay. Let's go over here to the bench so I don't have to hold my arms up. Move this little guy out of the way for a minute here. Okay. Volt Pro charger. The updated one, which they came out with after the melting joystick problem, has a very, very high quality, nice silicone cable. You can see how this is super flexible, nice quality, big diameter. But the key thing is it has a Nutric connector on the end. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Oh, come on. Where are we focusing at? Hang on. Yeah, this autofocus is screwing with me here. There we go. You can see right there. Nutric. This is the actual brand that can handle the amperage. When they first came out with these, they were using inferior cables and inferior connectors that couldn't handle the amperage and they were getting hot. So there's the Volt Pro. This is what I'm referring to with the gray upright charger. Now, most of them do not have this cable coming out of the front. It comes out of the back, and the power cord comes out the front, which is stupid design. These need to be swapped, but anyways, ignore the fact that this is coming out the front. But this is also made by ePower First, very good charging company, very safe, very high quality charger. This is what I recommend for any MK batteries, or pretty much any power chair. The only problem with this one is we were talking about the voltage doesn't get quite high enough to keep the Permobil branded batteries at full capacity over the years. I think this one doesn't have an official Nutric connector on it, but this thing's only putting out a maximum of 8 amps. It's usually 7.8 or 7.75, so wasn't really an issue even with a non-Nutric connector. But yeah, this is the gray upright that I'm talking about. Yeah. The train video in the background always mesmerizes me. I wind up watching it instead of you. Yeah, so that's Rail Cow Girl. 3 words, like rail like train, cow like moo, and girl like woman. Punch that into YouTube. That live stream's going 24/7. It's a train system in Norway. Very scenic. I just got a new F3 with a Volt Pro. Been using the trusty gray upright for the past couple of days. Something in particular? So if you can confirm that your chair actually has the Permobil branded batteries, I think the happy medium here is to use this most of the time. And then once a week, charge your chair with this. But it has to be in compatibility mode, which is this little switch under this sticker. You got to put it in mode 3 or compatibility mode so the voltage doesn't go too high. This gets the batteries to the proper voltage but doesn't have the float mode. This has the proper float mode but doesn't get the voltage quite high enough. In stock settings, this goes way too high on the voltage and doesn't have the float mode. Easy way to tell if it's in compatibility mode, I will show you. I know, super annoying. Using a different charger one night a week on a different schedule. Obnoxious as hell, but honestly, you can just use that gray upright charger all the time with your Permobil batteries. You just won't get the maximum lifespan out of them. That's really the only downfall. Or maximum service life, as it were. When you plug this thing into the wall, these will either blink once or blink 3 times. If it's in compatibility mode, like this one is, they're going to blink 3 times when I plug it in. It happens instantly, though, so you have to be looking at this when you plug it in. Like so. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. See how it blinked 3 times? That means it's in compatibility mode. And that's only when you plug it into the wall, not plugging it into your chair. That's what it looks like. So that's the only way I would ever connect one of these to my chairs, is if it blinks 3 times when you plug it in. Actually, I'm going to wrap this cord up because I'm done using this. It is kind of cool, though. They have a little hanger on the front, so you can mount this thing to the wall, and then your charger can just hang from that if you did wall mount it. Oh, and the other thing, too, with these Volt Pro chargers is you want to make sure it has an actual name brand Nutric connector on the end. In little tiny letters, it says N-E-U-T-R-I-K. If it doesn't say that, you want to have Permobil replace the charger because you got one of the old ones. The cable length is just perfect on these, though, to wrap up a cord pretty nice and it won't come off of there. On the newer variants, anyways. Ugh. And honestly, like... Whoop. There we go. And honestly, maybe you'll just be fine. Maybe you can just use the charger as it came in mode 1, and you're not going to have any problems. Maybe that's the bigger majority right now, but it's hard to tell because only the people that have problems are the ones you hear from, so I don't know. Anyways, oh, we need to plug a load into this thing we just built. Let's see, what do we want to power with it? What do I have laying around here that can be powered with some power leads? Actually, we might as well get our cables. Whoop! That's knocking everything over. Excellent. Let's get our power leads over here. Where did it go? There's one. Oops, excuse me. No, that's not it. Is this it? No. There's positive. There's a negative. So potentially, these should just kind of go right in here. Yep. There we go. And we can clip these onto something to power it. Have to remember, though, the output is always on when you turn this thing on. There we go. Let's turn our voltage down. Okay. What can we run with this? There's got to be something laying around here. Looking for things to power. Have like a little motor or some lights. Oh, how about a car headlight? Do I know where that is? That would be a pretty decent amount of amperage, actually. No, I don't know where that car headlight is. What else do we have? Who'd have thought that this would be the difficult part? Oh, let's use this thing. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So this is just a random little USB charger. It runs on 12 or 24 volts. And I had this out the other day because I was looking to hook it up to a power chair. But let's set our voltage to 12. There we go. Clip these on. Turn on our output. And turn on the switch. There we go. It's running. And let's set up a stack of things here to put some load on it. And we're at 1.6 amps, so let's turn that on. And you can see here, we are pulling 800 milliamps. 1.6 amps out of there. This voltage is higher and it's stepping down, obviously, so let's crank this up a little. Oop, that turned it off. Try that again. Should be able to get 2.4 out of this. Okay, there we go. We're pulling 2.4 amps on the USB. Confirms it right there. And we're pulling 1.2 amps out of this ryobi battery. So, there we go. Portable power supply. I'm always working on random projects and stuff. Oh, actually, that was the trick with this, is I wanted to see how it responded when we changed the voltage. So, let's bump this up a little bit. So there's 18, 20 volts. Yeah, so you can see as we raise the voltage, our amperage goes down, obviously. But yeah, still works fine. And we can also kind of test and see at what point this thing cuts out. So we're still getting 5 volts out of it. We're at 9 volts now. Let's go. Oh, the screen just turned off. It's still running. We can go down a little bit here. So we can test at what point this drops out. 8.4. Still got output. So this thing's only a buck converter. So assuming if we drop below 5 volts, maybe 6, somewhere around there is where it's going to stop working. Because it needs a little bit of overhead to operate. See, now we're up to 2 amps. So we're pegged at the max output that this is set for. So let's change our output amperage. We can bump this up to 3. Okay. It's interesting that blinked red when it hit the amperage limit. So as we lower the voltage, the amperage will go up. But this thing should... Oh yeah, see, we're down to 4.8 volts now. It's starting to drop out on us. And 4.6. Screen just turned off. 4.5, so this is going to drop out here any minute. 4.3. Not really usable. Oh, I can hear the fan running inside here. So this should... 4 volts. 3.8. Yeah, so that's not usable. And there we go, it dropped out. So we can use this for testing things like this as well. Yeah, anyways. There we go. Cool little portable thing. And I can just throw it in my tool bag. Runs off of standard ryobi batteries, so yeah, I'm happy with that. It turned out really well. Who'd have thought that using a cheap import knockoff charger would work in the opposite direction for our purposes. They got a fuse up here and everything, so yeah, this is sweet. Super happy with that. Not including the battery, this did cost about $70 to build, 70. So not super cheap, but it's something that is worth that to me because I don't always have this bench power supply with me, and having this be portable is great. Cool to confirm, too, that the fan in there was actually spinning. So, yeah. Oh! Random product that you may or may not know exists. Electronic magnifying glasses. Check this out. So, I'm not good at identifying components or reading stuff that's really tiny. So, if we want to see what these MOSFETs are here on the back, I can adjust the light levels too. There we go. You can see part numbers. Also has infrared, or UV light. So this little chip right here, we want to see what this is. Come on, gotta get the light just right. Focus. What's the problem with these chips is sometimes the light has to hit them just right to be able to read them. Oh, there we go. Nuvoton. And then we can take a picture or just freeze the screen. And there we go. Now we have the part number and we can read that directly off of there. So yeah, kind of a cool little thing. I'll throw a link to this in the video description also. Come on, turn off. Off. There we go. Oakley dokley. Oh man, 6:30. This has been one of the longest streams in quite some time. Remove the do not remove sticker on the bottom. Yeah, that's the one. There used to be documentation about how to do that. I haven't been able to find it though. Volt power charger. Looked on the bottom under the sticker, but I can't find any switch, just the male plug port. Oh, here, let me show you real quick. I have a video about this. I was trying to think of how to search for it. Mm-hmm. Ah, the secret compatibility mode. Hey, how's it going? So today I've got a quick little video. Here's a link to this video. I show how to do that specifically. Obviously, make sure it's not plugged into the wall when you do this, but if you flip the thing over several times here, if we flip this thing over and look at the bottom, you can see we've got a couple different things. There's some random warning about something or other, and then there's this. Yes. With any AGM or lead acid batteries and wheelchairs, always plug it in all night, every night, any day you've used the chair. Doesn't matter if you've gone 20 feet during the day, plug it in overnight. AGM and lead acid batteries need to be kept at a full state of charge. Obviously, use it during the day. You know, don't plug it in during lunch or something like that, unless you don't have enough range to get back to where you're going. But every night, all night. This little sticker right here to 8 inches. Get a knife or something, so it's almost like it was designed to be taken on and off. But we want to save this for later because, as you can see, when we peel this off, we now have a couple of holes that lead in. If you look right here under the switch, you can see we have some marks. There's a 1. It's really hard to see down in there. There's a 2, and there's a 3. Currently from the factory. There we go. That's the little tiny switch right there. You want to be careful with it because it breaks easily. But yeah, mode 3 is compatibility mode on those. But yeah, every night charging is the way to go. If you wait longer than that, they're going to sit at less than 100% state of charge. And that does a couple of things. Mainly, it generates more heat for longer as you charge them back up. The lower the state of charge is when you charge it, the longer they have to be warm. And also just based on the chemistry of how those batteries work, bad things can happen if they sit around at anything other than 100% state of charge. But yeah, there's a link for that and everything. Let me just scan through chat here real quick, and I think we might call it a night. Just one flashing light when plugged in. Yeah. So, like I said, it might be fine. Not everyone has a problem with that. I don't even know what to recommend anymore, honestly. It's one of those things. There's no good solutions, really. Let's see here. Fighting with Amazon. Oh, fun, Ken. Oh, it is in the right mode. Okay. Harmless and safe fun weekend. Oh, yeah. Happy 4th of July in 2 days. Anyways, I'm going to go get some food. And by food, go get some, I mean, go to the fridge because I got groceries delivered last night. Anyways, thanks for watching. I might chop up this stream and make it into a shorter video and put it on the second channel or something. Just because, I don't know, I think this is really cool. I like this. And hopefully it gave you some ideas for things you can do for hacking and modifying other things. But yeah, I'm very happy with how that turned out. Anywho, let's find some closing music and we'll call it a night. How about, what is this, Blue Tuxedo? Sure, why not? See ya. Uh-oh, we have a dancing cat and a fish fillet. Where's the fly? There's the fly. We need some sort of video, though. How about... This is labeled Dude Man 3. I don't know what this is. Why is it not working? Oh, there we go. Apparently just some guy walking around. All right, cool. See ya. Here, eat this fish fillet. You know you want to eat it. No, don't turn around. Eat the fish fillet. Come on. Get you in the head with it.